Okay. Okay, now I'm using proper latency. I'm using slightly different settings, and I think I should be coming in nice and clear. So this is a 4K video using the latest and greatest tech. Hopefully it will work. And as I was saying before, my goal is right now just to tweak the flow. This is kind of inspired by some of the other videos I watched on the internet, and I'm gonna tweak the flow in today's video, because the part that you have closest to you, this is the grow out section, and then the part further from you, this is the frag section. We can turn off the flow and I can show you what I'm really talking about here. But the goal is to tweak the flow to make sure that it's as random as possible, because right now it's not. My flow has kind of been maybe a little bit more uniform. I can talk about the flow modes that I run, which I think is an important aspect. But before I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna probably, you know what, I can actually show you. Hey, hi Z1. I'm using G6 Radeon XR30 along with Bright strips for supplemental lights. Interesting. So streams bitrate to do is lower than recommended. I'm just playing around a little bit. But what are your thoughts on using AI glows as supplemental instead? That's a very good question, and I am in a similar situation. Let me think a little bit about this. So G6 Radeon with the Bright. Bright I do like a lot. Because, you know what, actually, hold on a second. I'm going to tweak one more setting. Sorry, I'm a little bit all over the place because I'm experimenting with some new tech, and I gotta, sorry, I'm just going to change the setting. Recording cannot be paused. Okay, so I've just changed the bitrate. I think it's going to be a little bit nicer now. Let me know if the video is coming through better. Output, ignore, advanced options. Hold on a sec. Sorry about this. I'm still kind of playing a little bit with the settings, but I think the video should be coming in nicer now. All right, so to answer your question, I think that G6s, which are in your case, are they blue or pro? Before I can answer this question, can you let me know which one you actually have? Is it blue or pro that you are running? And meanwhile, I'm just going to continue tweaking the video on this thing. Yeah, I think this is a little bit nicer. The reason I'm asking is for me to try and give you a qualified answer or a decent answer, I gotta know the combo of the blue, royal blue, and other lights, and the white light, because it depends on what you're like. The glows are quite different than any other light. And just for reference, here I'm using G5 blues. There is 4 G5 blues XR, what is it, XR30, and then I am using 2 glows. Now originally I have put in grows on this thing, but I had to bring them down. and I can explain why. Shall we feed the fish? I think we should feed the fish. Okay, this is a little bit, it's making me nervous. Let's put them right over here next to anemones. And hopefully they don't get stung with anemones, but I don't want them to be touching the MP40. All right. Yeah, I think this is a much nicer quality view. I'm using the pros. The only thought I have changing the supplements are that the spectrum of XH0 and glows are similar, with glows having more actinic feel. You know what? I don't think that's actually the case. If I recall correctly, the reef brights are a lot more blue, not actinic. So I would not actually think that they are that similar. I mean, you can fact check me, but this is kind of my understanding, and I think the reef brights give you a very crisp blue look. I think the XR30 Pros G6s are going to give you a lot of UV already. Like, I think overall you've got both spectrums covered very nicely. So again, before I can kind of answer the question, then my next question to you is why do you feel that you need to change your lighting? Or sorry, not to change, but to supplement your lighting. I'd like to understand that. Please let me know, and then we'll kind of continue. As we are doing this, I am going to start cleaning up kind of the pad. But okay, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. So while you are writing the answer to this question, coming back to the flow, you've got two MP40s on these two sides. I've got two more MP40s here, and then I have the orbit coming this way, and then there is two more MP40s here, and then you've got another orbit all the way down at the bottom with the flow. So this is kind of what I've put together a while, and this has been running and serving me very well. But now I think I want to kind of tweak it a little bit. So I'll walk you through the process. So first, I think I want to change the return so it's maybe not coming as much on this side. Also, I think it would be a lot nicer if I could, instead of going with a wider flow return, I wonder what will happen if I can actually tweak this and put a more narrow, straightforward flow. Right now it's very wide in of itself. What do you think? Should I change it so that instead of a flat, so right now my return output here is flat. It's one of those ones that make very wide and even flow. I wonder what will happen if I actually will put a single return, but it's actually going to be a nozzle. So it's going to be a lot stronger, kind of going this way. I wonder if that would actually be better. I don't know. Let me know what you think, and while I'll continue answering this question. Andrew, hey Andrew. Tank looks good. Yeah, it's a work in progress. I actually think it could be a lot better, but well, we're not quite there yet. Okay, the radiants still have a puck feel, albeit G6. Shading becomes an issue over time, but hey, I guess I'm just testing out different light combinations. By the way, have you tried the DMPs from Jabao? Well, a couple of things. So I guess two questions. So first, I think you'll be happy with both with the blade glow and grow. You just have to figure out what you feel you're missing. Is it more UV and royal blue, or more crisp blue and kind of white and royal blue channel? I think for the best bang for the buck, the grows would be better. But my situation, like when I have put the grows on this tank. I actually had a setback with my coral, and I think it's just maybe I was just giving it too much par. Speaking of par, shall we measure the par? I'm curious what my par is. It's been a while since I have measured it, so maybe that would be another thing for us to do right now. I luckily do have a par meter, and that will actually give you a good reference point on what's happening with the par in my aquarium. So meanwhile, let me know if you, am I coming through as a 4K? I'm curious. I hope I am, and hopefully my audio should be good as well, but please let me know. Nozzle flats, adductor pushes water really well. Yeah, so you prefer the nozzle, but my question is, do you think it's gonna be a little bit too much for the coral? Because it's kind of connected, it's located in that little corner there. So it's gonna be a very strong flow going this way. But you know what, maybe we will try. So, okay, first let's measure the par. This is the par meter. I've got 300 par here, 380. In the middle there's 400 par. My frags are getting 350, 200, 230, and all the way down here, this is like where it's starting to get lower. It's 130 par, which I think is still pretty high. I think I'm gonna lower, should I lower the par a little bit? My torches are getting about 200 par and 180 right over here. I don't know, I'll think about it, because so far nothing is looking off. Even, you know, my proverbial goldenrod, which is a really good example of something that would lose the yellow color if it's not happy, if it's getting bleached. This thing is looking really, really good. So I think I'm gonna maybe keep the par as is for now. All right. So yeah, I think if you want to take care of the shading, just do the blades. I love the blades. Like, I don't think I would be running a tank without the blades. I absolutely love them, and I've got 2 right over here, and that takes care of all that shading and whatnot. But I digress. Let's talk a little bit more about the flow. So, yes, you guys think that this is silly, eh? I think I agree with you, because this is how I've set it up on day 1, and I've never, like, really, I want to get that flow out as far out there as possible. So I don't really need any flow here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and see if I have actually any nozzles in the back here. Might be a little bit of a squeeze, but stay tuned. You can still ask the questions. I'm gonna try and get this thing out. It's a little bit of a very tight squeeze over here, but I will get this thing done. And I'll talk a little bit about the quarantine system that I have, which you'll be able to probably see there in a second. Okay, get this out. Let's see. Over 15 years of keeping fish, I have a lot of boxes of stuff. So let's see if I have any other nozzles in here. Look at that. You've got two. Let's see if I do have any of those nozzles. I hope so, but I don't know. They're never around when you need them. Ooh. I have an adjustable return nozzle in this kit right over here. Let's take a look. Maybe we will improve the flow right there. Lots of plumbing supplies. Let's take a look. What have I got here? Ooh, that might be exactly what I need. Check this out. So I've got this nozzle, and it's a nice and long one. I think that might actually be very, very useful for what I'm doing. Let me see if I can detach this one here. And yeah, it's actually a little bit longer and it's a little bit stronger. So why don't we try to replace the nozzle next and see if it will change the flow. So for me to do that, I will need some bands, because I never put my hands in the tank, because when I started out the hobby, I developed an allergy to something in the tank. So while I'm okay to put my hands in the water, I prefer not to. Okay, let's do the following. Let's turn the flow off, first of all. For this, I need to have my phone, which I had somewhere here. Come on. Without the phone, I cannot turn off the... Oh, here it is. So I'm using a Mobius app, and the way I usually do it is, so here's my Mobius. I have the farm right over here. What I don't like about it is how long does it take to actually turn on. Like, I want things to be boom, like this. Anyways, there's a button called maintenance. I'm gonna press it. And now you will see that the flow will turn off, which is pretty cool. Okay, as we are doing this, I'm gonna try and replace. So this is the nozzle. I'm gonna try to... it's always a pain doing this, but I'm gonna try. What's the best way to do that? Is it to screw this thing out and then replace it? I think that would be a better way of doing it. So I will need, first of all, I will need a towel, because without the towel I won't be able to do, oops, sorry guys, but it's all for the best. I think the end result is going to be worth it. So let's replace the nozzle. Meanwhile, so can you provide your rationale for why you think that the nozzle is better, and why is it would it be better in my particular case? Let me know. Okay, this is not as easy as it sounds, eh? So let's see if I can do it here. That is really not easy. Not easy at all. Shish. Easier said than done. Let's see if I can
Better not crack the glass with this thing. Okay. Get the nope. This is not going anywhere. Part 2. Let's see if we can snap off the nozzle without breaking the glass. I don't want to crack it. No, it's not going. Oh, okay, I've disconnected it slightly further than I wanted to, but I guess that's fine. Okay, so see if I can now remove the lock line on this one. So, and then I can figure out how far I want to go. I can go this far or a little bit shorter. Do I want to go shorter? I think this is going to be pretty good. So I'll try to remove the last piece. Let's see if I can. Okay, done. And now I have to just gently pop this one on top and see if it will let's see if it will not stop there or crack. Come on. Not as easy as it sounds, eh? It's not going through. It's not going there at all. Shish. That is painful. Gotta love this hobby, eh? Those nozzles. I don't want to apply too much pressure because I'm afraid I'm gonna crack something, which sometimes happens in this hobby. I think I need a piece of plastic to be on the other side of it. So this way I can apply a little bit more pressure. So I can take, yes, this is what thinking is for. So I have this tube. I can squeeze this in right here. If it's gonna fit, I think it's gonna fit or not. It doesn't quite fit. I need another piece of plastic. Something that will just remove a little bit of pressure off of the tube. Okay, how about this piece of plastic? I'll put this in. No, that's not good. Do I have something? Maybe this? Let's see. Yes, I think this will work a little bit better. So have a piece of plastic. Squeeze it in. And now, see if I can apply that nice, even no, still doesn't do it. Here, huh? Holy smokes, what did I get myself into? What did I get myself into, guys? Now I cannot turn on the flow without it. I hate lock lines. Ah. All right, well, might as well get wet. Not a big deal. All right, I found this hose, which I'm gonna use as a little bit of a stop. Yep, now straighten up the lock line a little bit. And now, let's see if I can just apply it's not going. Why is it not going? Come on. Shish. That is really ugly. That is really, really ugly. What's happening here? Okay, let's think. Thinking is not a bad thing. Let's just slowly, with control, start applying the pressure. Now, what I can do also is I can extend it a little bit by taking this one that I know, because they can all be a little bit different, right? The lock lines. If it's from different manufacturers, that could also be a problem. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna yank out the lock line from this one, the flat piece. There's one link. And then I will try to apply it to the other piece. So this is the thought process. See, I told you, sometimes you need to just think this one through. And hopefully, if I'll do it just right, which I just did. So I popped off the link off of this one. Now I can apply the pressure in a controlled way. Yeah, that's okay. So now it's on. Now it's in. And now I can apply this onto the link, but now it's the original, which hopefully will require a lot less force because they are yeah, it's on. It's connected. Whew. Holy smokes. All right. And as a side benefit of this is a lot longer of a piece. So I can actually, I'll have more ways of positioning it. All right. I think this is time to start playing with the flow now that I've made the change. Oh my God. Okay, let's take a look. I'm gonna turn on the flow, and let's see. Oh my God. Look at how strong the flow is here. That's a different animal altogether. Oh wow. Look at that. That is just wild. Okay, what did we do? What did I do? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, now we can analyze. So I'm gonna remove the... Okay, there is a huge difference in the flow that I'm seeing now, because this thing cuts across all the way. I don't think I've seen that before. Like, I can see the flow going all across over here. Oh my God. That is a wild wild difference in the flow. Now I need to tweak the height of it, which I'm gonna do in a second, because this is a little bit unwieldy, and I may need to go and buy a stop valve because I don't have one, and that means that if the power is going to be out, there's going to be a fair bit of water that's going to come down. Sorry, I'm just washing my hands. Okay, let's take a look. But we've done it. We've done it, team. That is something that is a huge benefit of doing these type of streams because I'm getting feedback from other folks. All right, now that we have this flow, this is the base, right? This is kind of what I'm working with as my base, and now that I'm going to start turning on the pumps or modifying the pumps, that will give you at least the basic principles of where things are going and why. Whew. Wow, that was intense. I don't like the fact that it's right now bubbling, so I may need to do something here, but we'll deal with that in a second. So first of all, thanks for that advice. That was a pretty good advice in my opinion. Okay. So what do we know? We know that the water is flowing in this direction. Now, one thing I wanted to know is I swear I had a little hole in here so that the water would not be coming down. So I don't actually need to have the float valve. Not what's the right word? It's not the float valve. It is the float gate. Basically, I don't have anything on return that will prevent the water not coming down. But if you make a little hole right near the nozzle, then it will take care of it. So let's experiment. So I'm going to bring the nozzle a fair bit down, and I'm going to position it so that it goes across. Look at that flow. This is such a strong flow. Oh wow, that's a huge difference. I'm ashamed to admit, but I've been running this farm for over 2 years, and I've always never really thought about changing the nozzle, and I think now I'm just like there's no going back. This is such a big difference. Now, one thing I need to do though is I need to find that little hole that I swear I made a long time ago so that the water would not come through the bottom part, because I think you understand what I'm talking about. If right now I turn off the pump, the water in my main tank will gonna come down to the point where the nozzle is, the lowest part of the nozzle, and I don't want that, because that means that just so much water is going to flow into the sump. But if I have a little hole at the top, and I think I used to have that little hole, so I need to find it, and unfortunately I don't have as nice of a space here to kind of get easily in there, but I think I can figure it out. So let's see what we can do here. Where is my little I'll show you guys one cool piece of equipment
that is needed just for what I'm trying to do here. So I'll show you. This is something I ordered on Amazon a while ago, and what it is, it's a blade. It's a scraper, but the way it's, okay, let me just see where it is. Where is the blade? Let me see. Where is the blade? It's a metallic blade that will allow me to get in there, if I'll be able to find it. Do I see it anywhere? I do not see it anywhere just yet. Shush. Come on. I was certain that I had it. Okay, I'm gonna use a different tool then, because I can't find it over here. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it on the other side. Talk about organization. I could be a lot better organized than I am so far. I think I know where it is. Too many things. Okay, I am back, and I'm gonna take a look at the area on the other side of my farm, which is where I think I put it. It's a little rod. Oh yeah, I found it. Sheesh. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. See this thing? So this is, I think, used primarily for freshwater. The nice thing about it is that you can just use a regular blade, and it allows you to get to like really tight spots. So I'm going to open it up, change the blade, because I don't want to go there with the scratchy blade at all. Luckily, I have a lot of blades at my disposal, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So you've got, yeah, see how rusty this blade is? So I think I can toss it, and hopefully without breaking anything, I'm gonna try and fish out another blade right over here. I'll open it up and replace it. And then we are going to use that blade to scrape off the area so I can actually see where that little hole is. So again, goes to show you how much work is required sometimes for really simple things. But here we are. So we've got it's not a big deal that there's a little bit of rust here. This never goes inside of the tank for more than a few minutes, and if there's a little bit of iron, not a big deal. If anything, I think the corals would appreciate that, because I don't dose any trace elements. But my God, that flow is at least twice of what it was before. It is massive. It is just massive. So, but this is just the beginning. This will allow me to change and tweak it, because after all, the whole point of today's video is to try and optimize the flow fully. So, okay, so we've got the thing. I'm gonna go from this angle over here. And then I'm gonna try and gently clean this up, if I will be able to. I think I will need to readjust the angle on this.
temporarily. That's okay. But right now it doesn't matter because we are just cleaning. Go like this. And oh yeah. That's a big difference. That's a huge difference right there. Okay, now that we've have that area clean, I can now go and try to find that hole in the lock line so that I can, or maybe I'm gonna have to make a new hole, which is also possible if this one got encrusted, but hopefully I won't have to do that. Okay, so do that, clean it up. Okay, so this is a nice tool that I've shown you. Now let's take a look if we can find that little hole in there so that I don't need to be worried about overflowing my sump. Fortunately, I can't seem to quite find it yet. But that still means nothing. We got time. We're gonna try and find it wherever it is. I was certain that I did it right. I would have done it somewhere at the edge. Why is it not there? I'm not sure yet. But that's okay. We can always make a new hole as well. But before I'm going to do this, I would like to see if I can actually find that hole. Okay, the ones on the front left rock don't look too happy. Front left rock, are you talking about the anemones? Andrew, the ones on the front left rock don't look too happy. Are you talking about these anemones or the torches? Let me know, and let me know what you think of the last thing you did to the nozzle. Improve things. Are you talking about replacing the nozzle or something else? Do tell. All right, I'm gonna start hunting down for that little hole to see if I can find it. Because I remember when I was just setting it up, I did make the hole, but I can't seem to find it anymore, which is kind of weird. I swear I had it. So do I bite the bullet and remove the nozzle one more time? I may have to do that because last thing also, why is it now? It's not that bad of a thing. Maybe I don't need to do that. Whatever I did. So let's take a look. This is the flow. It's actually not too bad. And it's still kind of going very strong over there. But I wouldn't mind knowing where that hole went, because I'm pretty sure I've made it. It was not a big hole, but I can no longer for the life of me find it. Huh. Let's see if we can. Do I make a hole, or do I leave it as is and just kind of compare the nozzle there? What do you think? Do I make the hole or do I just leave it as is? I can also play a little bit with the... Okay, I'm gonna leave it till next time. Actually, I can test it. So this is the nozzle. At kind of try to go as horizontal as possible. So I want this to be as vertical as possible, and I'm gonna lower it down as much as I can, where it does not. I can also go like this, so I can go at a slightly different angle, so it's gonna go down. Let me think what is better. Do I want this to go down or more vertical? I gotta measure that angle. So right now it's kind of hitting the acropora a little bit too much. So I may need to tweak it to kind of this level over here. Let's see. Go like this and go like this. Do I want it? Not sure yet. I am not sure yet if I want this or not. See, this is kind of always how I operate. I tweak and tweak until I'm kind of happy with something, but in this particular case. Okay, we're gonna do an experiment. I'm gonna position it to a nice low setting. I'm gonna go as long on this as possible as well. I can also go across, so it's a little bit less of a direct flow onto the coral, which is probably what I want. So I'm gonna make it go by the sidewall. Yeah, I think this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it, guys. So I don't want that. This is a very strong flow, right? So I don't want this to be hitting any coral directly. So I'm gonna have to instead straighten the lock line and send it right across. Yes, I think I got it now. So this way, this is my thinking. I don't want that strong flow to be hitting any coral, but my goal is to send that water, fresh water, all the way to the end of the tank. So kind of going maybe right at this angle. Yes, I do like it. And now I can also, actually, you know what we're gonna do? This is what we're gonna do. We are now going to turn off all the flow in the tank except for actually I'm gonna turn off the orbit as well, because I really want to gauge the flow. That's how it's done, gang. This is how it's done. So let's do that. Turning off the flow over here. Okay, so now the only flow really that you see is the flow from the return. Oh my God, what was I doing all this time? I'm really. Okay, yes, the anemone, the last thing. So when you redirected the new nozzle, it was better. Yeah. So okay. So this is how I think about flow. First and foremost, I've got right now just one return pump generating all the flow in the tank, and I can just gauge it for a second here. I'm not going to do anything else. I just want to understand what I'm dealing with here. So I'm going to remove this so that we don't get... Okay, now I'm going to lower this a little bit more, just because I don't want any salt creep. I want that to be as not salt creepy as possible, if there's such a thing. But if I'm gonna go lower, no, this is, like you can see, it's a very strong flow, but it's not, and it's hitting strongly that corner there, but it is... Ooh, I know what I'm going to do next. I'm going to use some fish food to really understand how my flow is going. This is going to be fun. So I'm going to take some brine brine shrimp, and I'm going to place it in the water so that, well, first I need to find the brine, but I do have a fair bit of it right over here. It's omega enriched brine shrimp. So I'm going to take that, and first I'm going to feed a little bit of it to my anthias that have been quarantining. I think today or tomorrow is the day when I'm going to introduce them to the main tank, but let me just feed the fish a little bit here. I'm not worried about introducing any extra food to the farm because I think the fish are going to be happy. Now, I take the brine shrimp, and now let's take a look at what will happen next. So let me just clean up the working area, and I'm going to stand right over here. And now let's take a look. So this is me feeding the fish and throwing the brine shrimp in this direction. And now I can explore what's happening in here. So it's going straight here, hitting it, and it's going down. That's interesting. So it's actually going down across, and then it obviously just gets stuck here, right? So there's nothing else that's going on, which is fine. That's kind of what I would expect. But we see how strong the flow is going in just one direction. All right. I think the next is, so one thing I'm not happy about is that those ripples. I think these ripples are going to be a problem longer term, because that would mean a lot of salt creep, and I don't want that salt creep in my farm. So what happens if I raise the nozzle a lot higher, but just slightly point it down, which is kind of what I did before, and that really removes all of the nozzles, all of the salt creep. It also prevents the risk of overflowing, because the water is gonna, you will see in a second what will happen, but we'll get to this in just a moment. But what I want to do next is I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to just use this little thing to scrape it, just to see if I can actually find the hole. Where would that hole be? I remember I made it. Why would that not be here? I don't know. All right. So now that I've readjusted the the lock line nozzle, I need to do it one more time. So I'm going to take one more cube of brine shrimp, and I'm going to experiment and see how the flow goes in here. And this gives me a chance to feed the anthers one more time, because they are always hungry, and that will make sure that they have something in their bellies. Okay, let's take a look at this now. So I'm feeding another brine shrimp, and then I can really experiment and see what's happening in here. So it kind of goes, but we can see that it's a little bit more. It's a little bit softer now, isn't it? Not really. Look, the torches are still getting a fair bit of flow just from the return pump. Like that's very nice. Okay. So the last test that I need to do is I want to turn off the flow on my pump and see the level. Just this is more for safety precaution. I want to see how the water is going to flow back into the sump, which is happening right now. So I just turn it off, and you hear that sound? That is actually it sucking the air, and I think that's it. So this is actually very nice. Ooh, I know what I did. That's actually pretty cool. So notice that my lock line is not straight anymore. I've actually raised it higher. I'm learning something new here. So I've raised it a lot higher. So it's now touching the Euro brace. I like it. This is so much better, because now I can really tweak it. Okay, that lock line will serve as kind of the air pocket right there. So I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So this is me turning off the flow once again. I'm gonna try and put it right underneath the Euro brace so that when it splashes, that splashing does not go. Ooh, I like it. Look at that. So all that splashing is going to be contained by the Euro brace. We'll wait until it will be full, which is hopefully going to be a second. So get everything out of the sump. So the maximum velocity. We're cooking. We are cooking now. Pelagic swimmer, good evening. I heard great things about you. I believe about your Tang collection. So hopefully I'm not wrong and you are the person with a crazy Tang collection. So, okay, I think this is a little bit too high. So I'm gonna just slightly lower it up to here. And now that we've got that. I think that might be the perfect flow right there. So it's going. It's hitting the torches all the way there. And now the only thing I want to know is whether it's circular, like whether it ends up here or it's turning around. And by looking at these torches right over here, I can already tell you that it is circular. So the flow comes, hits this corner here, and then slowly kind of ends up here, and then, I don't know, it kind of dissipates on the way back here, which is fine. But we certainly learned something right now, and I'm going to continue down this path. So notice a huge improvement. Oh yeah, it is you. Yes, I think you were not referred, but somebody mentioned you when I was introducing Sohal in my tank, and you've got a crazy system, and I did check it out, and I think very highly of it. So glad you are joining for this little live stream, which is a pretty crazy live stream if you think about it, because I have been messing with the flow, and just goes to show you, I don't know how many minutes we are in the video session, but I've only tweaked one pump so far. But oh my god, what kind of a, like, how big of a change this is in of itself. I changed the nozzle, and this new nozzle is phenomenal. Now let's do a safety check one more time. So I'm gonna turn off the pump, and I want to see when it will stop the flow, which in my opinion is going to be very soon. Sorry. We're gonna need drink some water. Yeah, look at that. So I turn off the flow, and the moment it starts sucking air, I don't need to wait until the bottom part of the nozzle, because over here, this is where the air gap is, and now using the just simple physics, I'm done. Like, I mean, I don't need to make a hole. I don't need to do float valve. That's what I was thinking. I don't need to do any of that, and it's working perfectly. All right, I'm pretty happy already with just this particular change. I think this is a massive change. Sorry, I'm just drinking some water. But we are, yes, I'm making a siphon break with the lock line. I used to, for the longest time, make like little holes in the lock line right above, and that would be like a little stream. But this time, all I'm doing is I'm just doing a kink, which is above the surface, so that middle piece here. And now this is a siphon break right there. That is exactly right. So you're spot on. All right, we've got the flow going this direction. It's perfect now. It's hitting all the way towards the end. So that would be the first pump that I'm gonna turn on. So now that we have that, the second part of this whole equation is to come back and think, what is our goal? And the goal here is to have, like, I think circular motion would be nice, but I also don't want this to always be going in the same direction. I'm hoping there is a way to make it as random as possible and as intermittent as possible for the corals in ideally all of this section to kind of be getting different types of flow. So let's put our thinking hats on, and let's think what would be the kind of the best options over here. So keep in mind that I want the middle here, this section, which is the high par section, to be the one that's got the most flow. And everything else I want to kind of be a little bit intermittent, almost. So I'm thinking one thing that I could do. Actually, as I'm thinking, if you have any suggestions, like let me know, because this is the time to kind of be doing this. But because I don't want to say I'm stuck, but I would like to I guess understand this a little bit better. So what I can do is I can play with, well, let's think. I have several MP40s. I have several of the, whatchamacallit, the orbits as well. And maybe the orbits can help here, considering that I've got the torches kind of in this section right over here. Let's think. Let us think, and hopefully we'll get to some sort of a conclusion. Because let's look at even the torches in this area here. Like, they're right now looking very sad because they're just not getting any flow whatsoever. These torches are getting some flow, but it's all coming from this direction. If I were to place a pump, which is going to be an orbit or an MP40, and kind of go across, I'll create that random flow, but that may not be a good idea, because I'm going to be combating that beautiful kind of circular flow that I'm getting there. But until I will actually try, I won't know. So maybe, because this is torches, and torches, yeah, you know what? This is what I'm going to do next. To answer your question, Andrew, why do you have both MP40s at the same level? I don't know, just historically I've put it like this, but this is a perfect opportunity. Anything goes, guys. Like, I mean, if you make some suggestions, I'll try to incorporate them right now. Like, that's the whole idea for this. So tell me what you think is a better way of doing it, and I'll try to do that. As I am messing around here, I'm gonna start meanwhile by going with that orbit. So I have this orbit. I'm just gonna mess with this a little bit by placing it. First, I'm gonna place it right across, and I'll see what will happen if I will turn it on here. So let's just see. So orbit is coming on. Because my thought is maybe first I need to do the base, so have the full circular as kind of the main section, and then I can add strategically a few more pumps in other areas to just change it up a little bit. So maybe this is what I want to do. So this is the orbit that's sitting here. I'm gonna get rid of this guy, and let's see. So I've just turned it on, and it's already, you can see that the torches here are bombarded by that flow. Like, they are really, the flow is going this way, which is maybe what I want. but I'm not sure yet. Let's take a look. I only have, wow, like look at that. This is very strong, and it's kind of hitting the torches right over here. Now, what if I move the orbit on the back wall and just place it across, which is going to create kind of a stubborn flow hitting it in the opposite direction. Like the torches really don't like that. I'm seeing this right now. The torches really don't like the that section. No, this is not good. I don't think this is a good idea, because, well, it seems a little bit counterintuitive on one hand. On the other hand, maybe it's not a bad thing, because if I do this, I'm kind of hitting across, the flow goes this way, it meets the flow that I cannot adjust here, and I'm getting that randomness in this section here. So there is something to be said about that. And I like what I'm seeing with I really like what I'm seeing with my acros in this section here. Like this is actually very nice. So what happens if I instead move this a little bit off to the side? So I'll go like this. So I'm not blasting the torches directly, but instead I'm using the orbit to send that flow across over here. Like, is that any better or it's worse? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure yet. Let's think. That's exactly the reason I'm doing this. Refrondo. I'm the Sloth King. Hey. Yeah, so I'm just messing with the flow here. We've got strong flow coming from here, and there's only one pump on, and it's already pretty cool. I actually kind of like what I'm seeing, but I wonder if I can do this better. So let's continue messing with it. That's the whole point of this. I kind of liked it when it was in the corner, because this way, yeah, the torches definitely get maybe a little bit too harsh of a flow in this corner. But I'm gonna observe them for a second here. But the randomness, I love that randomness, because it's hitting across, and we've got that beautiful kind of two waves hitting each other, which is really awesome. I don't know. Okay, what happens if I kind of put it on this wall here once again and send it across? What happens then? So the torches there get bombarded by the flow, which is too much, I think. But I can control that by, I guess, the flow on this end. I don't know, I think I'm stuck a little bit here, guys. I think I'm stuck. And there's a dead spot right over here, which I wasn't getting before. So, no, I think this one has to kind of go back, unless I will I don't know. I'm stuck. I think I'm. I don't know what's the better way of doing it. And honestly, there is no good tutorials. Everybody makes videos on torches, on flow and how the flow, is in my tank or in this tank. But really, I did not find them to be as informative for myself. So right now I've got this, and then it's hitting this way, but I'm looking for that turbulence. I'm looking for that kind of wild stuff hitting it. I'm just curious, what happens if I turn on all my other pumps on just for a second here? Now that I've made a few sections, now there's going to be tons of flow, and it's going to be wild. Oops, actually maybe that's even better with the lights off for a second here. Look at that flow here though. Oh my god. So I've got all the lights, sorry, all of my pumps on. And you know what? I think that might actually, so far it's still pretty decent, because I'm just looking at my corals. They are kind of getting that intermittent flow right now. So I have, because the thing is, my pumps all are on kind of that wave mode. So they're on for say 7 seconds, and then they're off for 10 seconds or 7 seconds, and then it just comes on. But they're all staggered, so everybody's a slightly different mode. And I think this is, if anything, I think this is actually, it's actually pretty nice. It's a strong flow, don't get me wrong, but I think just making those two changes have significantly improved the flow on my system. Now I'm only at 4% battery, so I think I'm gonna wrap up today's episode. But this is, you know what? I do like what I see. This is already better than it was before. Can I do better? I think I can. But I'm gonna have to think a little bit about it and kind of figure out what's the... Maybe we'll do round 2 at some point and kind of mess with this a little bit more. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for all your advice and for your suggestions, and it was nice to connect with a few of you folks. That's, yeah, I think that was pretty cool. I certainly enjoyed it. Anyways, have a happy new year. Talk to you later, and I am going to continue messing with the tank. Maybe there'll be part 2 later, I don't know, tomorrow, today, next week, whatever. Bye.